Hi there, this is Rob. Just wanted to put this video together for anybody who has a Kohler Karbon faucet. This thing was running a little bit when we bought the house, and now it's just a tiny dribble. And so I decided I was going to take it apart, and it was a bear to try to find instructions. So I did find this instruction online, and I will put the link below, but I searched for hours and finally found that page. I was just about to give up. So here's my disassembly. You take that little button off, that allows the spout to move a little bit, but you have to notice I didn't do that here because I had put it back together quickly and probably wasn't seated completely. That little button has to be pushed in for that to pull down enough for you to reach the hex nut that's above there, the hex screw, and then once you loosen that hex screw, that will get the spout out. So that's probably the meat of this whole video, is getting that out. But if you stay tuned, I'll show you how I got the assembly apart that actually has the screen in it that had all the minerals in it. And once I got it cleaned out, it was good to go. So the button again holds the assembly inside the spout. So there's a spring-loaded dealy-do, so you have to just hold that button down and pull it out, and don't lose the spring. Getting the screen out was another little bit of a tricky thing, but not too bad. You have to loosen this piece of plastic. There's a threaded cap that basically goes over the assembly that holds the screen. It's quite a piece of work here. Anyway, so with a little bit of effort, you get this out. Now you'll notice that there's a bunch of rubber seals on this, and I will show you what I used for resealing it. This only goes together one way, so if you turn it 180 degrees, it looks like it'll almost go, but it won't. So you have to make sure you get the orientation right. But make sure you put silicone lubricant in all these before you reassemble. I didn't show that in every spot. So this little holder holds a spring-loaded valve that's inside here. I believe that has to do with the spray. I didn't actually fiddle with it, I just took it out. So that comes out, and then this retainer holds the screen in. So this retainer has another gasket on it, rubber O-ring. So it takes a little bit to get it out. I've used a 5/32 hex wrench and pushed from the bottom up, because trying to grab that with the pliers, I was afraid I was going to crack it and break it. So this worked really well, so I highly recommend it. There's another O-ring. And then the screen and this little green piece of plastic pop right out. And that is all you need to do. Now, then you just take those, and I just took I think I took a needle and just push the particles off, scrape the particles off, and cleaned it out real good. So that went pretty well, better than I expected, and it's amazing, these expensive Kohler faucets, you can actually take every little bit of it apart. I suppose that's what you're paying for. Now, putting this back together was really difficult because the green piece of plastic kept turning sideways. So what I eventually came to was I got it in place, and then I held it flat with that same 5/32 hex wrench so that it was flat, so that I could then lower it, because every other time I tried to do it, it would turn sideways on me and wouldn't stay in place. So then we just go reverse the process, push the retainer back in, make sure you've lubed, put a little bit of silicone plumber's grease on all these so that they don't leak on you or give you trouble. That'll help keep them long lasting, all that kind of thing. So yeah, this spring and that little piece was a little bit of a bugger, but not too bad. It does have to fit into the retainer that goes on top of it, so make sure that little arm that comes up out of that is sitting in the center of the retaining piece, because otherwise it's going to go in sideways and you're going to break it. So make sure you got all that lined up, and it should just press in, and that's what I was able to do, just press it in, and that was good to go. It takes a little bit of pressure to get that to go. And there it is. So that was that. And then this only goes one way, so make sure you got it the right way. So put that back together and put the black cap back on, and then you can stick it back in the spout. Now, what I forgot here, and I remember just at the last moment, there's another screen on this. So do take the end part. This part is, for mine, is gray. Take that end part off, because that might also have some minerals deposited on it, and clean that out before you put it all back together. So yeah, and then you're ready to reassemble. So the silicone grease that I used was this plumber's grease you see down there. So putting this back into the socket holds it. I always, whenever I have a hex nut like this, I always loosen it to get it out, and then I put it back in so I don't lose it. So I had to take it back out again, and then I tightened it over top of it, and it looked like it was right. But you have to have it seated. There's a dimple inside the spout, and if you don't have it in that dimple, the spout's not going to be in the right place. See, it is not reseating like it should. So it's obviously not quite right. So just make sure you have it in that dimple. So I'm going to end up taking this back off and making sure that I'm in the right spot. When it's lined up with the button, the hex screw still shows. So it's obviously not seated in the right spot. So just loosened it up, and then once it came loose, pushed up with my thumb, and it popped into the right spot. And then we were seated in the right place. So there, I popped it up. I'm still putting pressure underneath on the strainer part of this to get it up where it needs to go, because that spring-loaded spout shroud is not helpful. It's actually, you have to hold it out of the way. So yeah, so now we're in the right place, and now you'll see that once we got that tight, the spout cover, the spring-loaded thing, is in exactly the right spot. The button's ready to go, and it's aligned properly. And here we go with our smoke test, and we have water. Much rejoicing. My family was much happy to have this flowing again, because it was really kind of giving us pain. So thanks for watching, and that's what I have. As I fiddle with things with music or with other jobs I do around the house that I think might be helpful, I will post them. Thanks for watching again. Have a good one.